Hi everyone, we're back for another week of admiration, and this week we are going to be looking at a Haribo ad called Fishing, which very much follows the formula that you'll have got used to from Haribo over the years. And Isra and I have thoroughly enjoyed it, apart from the fact that it is making us crave more sweets than ever before. Quick introduction before we get started. I'm Kim. I look after the ad pillar, the ad solutions that we have here at Zappi, and I'm joined by Isa.
And I'm Isa, and I'm an insights manager at Zappi.
Great. So with that, let's dive straight in. Oh, they look tasty. Great. Should we have a look at the ad?
Yeah, let's do it.
Haribo donuts. We could use the colour because that one's shiny and fishes like shiny. Two green bears could be Nessie, you know. Nessie, not real. Are you scared of it? No.
I can feel myself smiling at that already, and not just, although not obvious from the accent, the fact that I was born in Glasgow and all my family live in Scotland. So I already love it just because of the voices. Did you like the voices, Isa?
I honestly, it took me maybe a couple of watches to fully understand the dialogue, but I did enjoy it, yes.
Yeah. Particularly enjoyed the fact that they'd managed to say it could be Nessie by putting two little sweets together. That's quite genius. Okay, great. Should we dive into the results and see what other people thought of it?
Yeah, let's go into the platform. If we looked at all the other Haribo ads, I'm sure we'd be looking at a very similar picture. From a sales impact perspective, it's on that 93rd percentile, so better than 93% of all ads tested in the UK. And then from a brand impact perspective, on that 83rd percentile. So really, really showing its potential to drive brand equity in the long run and sales over that long run as well.
Excellent. I mean, it looks like it's been successful in a lot of areas, but I guess one that's probably worth us calling out is this ad distinctiveness score, right? So I mean, why do we measure our distinctiveness? We measure our distinctiveness because it's a great measure of whether it's likely to grab attention out in the real world when fundamentally our attention is spread across a million things, not just what we're watching or doing, but everything that's kind of occupying our minds. And I think what's super clever here is one of the reasons that it grabs that attention is because of that the kind of disconnect between what you're seeing and what you're hearing. So you're seeing these men in a boat and you're hearing these kids' voices. And because that is unusual, unexpected, could be alarming in some way, you immediately transfer your attention to that because we're wired to pay attention to things that are unfamiliar and that could be a threat or an opportunity. So there's something super clever, right, in the way that they've created this kind of dissonance between what you see and what you hear that makes you go, wait, what is that? And immediately draw your attention away from other things and into that ad. And then, of course, once you get there, it looks like it entertains you and makes you feel quite good as well, right? Looking at that overall emotion.
Yeah, the overall emotion is really high, and the intensity of that emotion as well throughout the ad is significantly above the norm. So we can have a look at exactly how people felt throughout. Yeah, if we focus on the positive emotions, we can see a peak of love as the brand is coming through. So if we play the ad, as soon as one of the fishermen offers the star mix, love goes up, then their whole conversation drives laughter amongst the audience, just the sheer silliness of it all, with the highest peak of laughter when one of the fishermen is like, no, I'm not scared of Nessie. And then finally, another peak of love when the jingle for the brand comes up, and also we see an array of the different share bags that Haribo has to offer.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, yeah, I absolutely love that kind of jingle or sonic cue that they have. So that would make my love go flying up as well. Is it working as a brand cue? The actual jingle that they have.
Yeah, definitely. Haribo has so many different, like very distinctive brand assets that people pick up on. And they all come through when we ask people to identify what those assets were in the ad that make them recognize it was an ad for Haribo. Yeah, so we get things like Haribo, the product itself, like the packaging, very iconic. The shapes of the product, also extremely iconic. The music, which is what people kind of referred to as the Haribo jingle. But most importantly, the kids' voices. That's absolutely kind of something that is extremely unique to the Haribo brand and lets people know it's a Haribo ad straight away. So we get here, they have the adults had children's voices, the voiceovers. Haribo always uses adults and gives them kids' voices, Haribo products, and the children's voices in grown adults. So extremely particular to the Haribo brand.
Yeah, that is incredible when you unearth such an incredible kind of creative idea that resonates and can be played with, and that they've been able to keep going over time, and to the fact that it becomes a cue. Like as soon as you see an adult with a child's voice, you assume it's Haribo.
Yeah.
Alongside, I guess, an absolute embarrassment of riches of the number of things. Most brands don't have one thing that cues them, or they've got one or two, but this is quite an incredible amount there, which is amazing. Is it the same things that are cueing the brand, which is also the things that people like, or are they liking something different?
There is definitely an element of, I guess, like the overall ad structure and the feel of it, which is facilitated by the kids' voices and kind of like the
Mm-hmm.
playfulness that makes people really like the ad, particularly things like the characters, their voices, the setting in general, but also how the ad makes people feel, which we'll have a look in a second. So we have the characters overall creating a massive bit of what people like. It being funny, entertaining, happy, positive, but we can look specifically at what some of the people said. So when it comes to the characters, we can expand here. Clearly, the voice is something that they liked. I really like the advert. I can recognize the Haribo advert straight away as they have adults using childlike voices, clearly showing how both adults and children can enjoy Haribos. If we go down to the emotional response, look at funny, entertaining. I like how it wasn't too long, so it didn't get boring. The fact that they had childish voices made me engage from the very beginning, as it was a surprise. I then enjoyed how funny and heartwarming it was. There were a couple of comments as well about how it just made adults feel like they can be silly and have fun again. So this was one of them. It was fun, even though life can be tough. A simple packet of sweets can lighten the mood and bring out the child in you, which is essentially the message that Haribo is trying to convey in every single ad.
I think that's super smart, right? Because I mean, obviously, if you're selling sweets or selling chocolate, like of course those things make you happy. I mean that's why they exist, right? I rarely look unhappy while eating a bar of chocolate, even if I should do it less. But I think what's really clever here is they've gone beyond that kind of superficial, um, immediate kind of yes, that makes me happy, and they've gone that little bit deeper. And I think that's something that brands can think about a little bit more, which is, there's lots of functional reasons to buy a particular brand, like even if you're talking about a cleaning product. But usually if you dive deeper, there's often an emotional underpinning as well that's there that you can dive deeper into. Like, is it actually because of a sense of pride? Is it a sense of satisfaction? Like, is it feeling like you've achieved something? Like, what's beyond the functional reasons? What are the more emotional reasons they do that? And I love that verbatim, and I think there was quite a few more around it here. But the idea of kind of tapping into that liberation of childhood, like enjoying every moment, like seeing the fun in every moment, not being kind of constrained by adult thinking and all of the complexities of life and everything that goes with it, and kind of taking you off into that Haribo space, and childlike space. I think it's super clever. I'm assuming that's why it's been going for so many years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite incredible. Is there anything else we should look at here, or should we jump back to look a little bit more at Haribo as a whole?
I think let's jump back and we can summarize from there.
Excellent. So yeah, we were just talking about if you can really unearth a fantastic creative idea, which is what they've done here with the Voices, I guess, campaign. We can see here we've got examples of ads going right back to 2014. So it was like a really rich territory in terms of that idea of bringing out the child in you, and that they've brought to life again and again. And is this right? Is it? So it's been 4 years, has it, since the police ad?
Yeah, it's been 10 years since the first Kids' Voices was aired, and it's been 4 years since the latest iteration prior to Fishing was aired. And I think with that, it just shows how usable an idea like that is, that they ran it for 4 years consistently without people getting bored of it, without the message feeling like it's too old anymore. It just stands it stands the test of time, and it feels like it will continue to do so over the next few years.
Which is nice. So it stands the test of time. It's become a brand cue in and of itself. But if we look forward, they've got a lot of different brand cues, right? And we're just showing some of the work. I'm sure many of you know Dan White, but just, he's got these lovely visualizations of things that help with your marketing, your brand building, your advertising. And we were just looking here. I'm just looking at all of the different kinds of brand assets that you might have that you could deploy, particularly in advertising, but also at point of sale and everywhere else to really bring your brand to life. And Haribo's got an absolute wealth of them, as we've been talking about, the font, the logo, the children's voices, the product itself, when we're looking at it, like you couldn't get muddled up with the star mix, like it's Haribo and the bears. But perhaps my favorite, and one thing that we've seen people doing less and less of over time, and yet is highly effective, is what would be the slogan or the sonic cue. The kids and grown-ups love it so, Happy World of Haribo. Even the tune of it, I mean, I'd love to sing it, but I have a voice like a drone. Even that kind of brings joy in and of itself. So that's quite wonderful as well, and it acts as a great cue. Are there other examples of brands that have done that well?
Yeah, I think we could think of quite a few of them across both the UK and the US. So many iconic sounds that we can I think everyone would reference back to or recognize instantly. The Netflix initial like da-dum sound, Just Eat with their iconic kind of slogan, very much in a very similar fashion to Haribo, has an iconic tune, and it's hard to say the phrase, did somebody say just eat, without actually singing it. All the way to things like the McDonald's I'm loving it, the very, very distinctive voice of the Go Compare market singer. In the US, the Liberty, Liberty, Liberty little tune, moonpig.com, obviously, and then the sound of the Intel logo, which I think is just ingrained in everyone's memories.
Yeah, they're so incredible. I don't even know how we got through this slide without singing. I really want to sing moonpig.com, but I'll not go there. Yeah, I mean, really great examples. And we've got examples over the years. And for a while, it felt like brands were starting to use sonic cues less, but it feels like they are starting to make a comeback. And it feels like but almost every brand that's got one, it's like really memorable and it really sticks in your mind. You can't escape it. You can use it across like a lot of the work, in video, in audio work that you do, and everywhere else. Even when you encounter the brand on a website, it can have quite a presence. So I guess we can leave it here with so much to celebrate about this particular Haribo ad, but probably more about their campaign as a whole and how they've established and built their brand and how they use these fantastic assets again and again. And hopefully some food for thought for everyone else in terms of establishing those brand assets, thinking beyond the functional elements to think about the emotional elements of your brand and how that can help drive a successful and consistent campaign over time. Well, we'll be back next week with another ad.
We
Thanks,
will.
Issa.
Thank you.